Ashtavakra starts. The beautiful answer. If you aspire after liberation, my child, shun the objects of senses as poison and seek forgiveness, sincerity, kindness, contentment, and truth as nectar. You are neither earth, nor water, nor fire, nor air, nor ether. In order to attain liberation, realize yourself as the knower of all these and consciousness itself. Beautiful two slokas, beautiful two sutras. In the first sutra, he speaks about few things, few qualities, the basic qualities like shun the objects of the senses, seek forgiveness, be sincere, be kind, be content, and live with the truth. And the second sutra, he says, please understand, in the second sutra, he expresses the technology. He says, you are neither earth, nor water, nor fire, nor air, or ether. In order to attain liberation, realize yourself as the knower of all these and consciousness itself. This is a beautiful sloka. In the first part, he says, he gives you disciplines, few moral lessons. And in the second part, he gives the technology to achieve the state. I feel, in those days, this is the way they presented. First, little bit of discipline, then enlightenment. But I tell you, for modern men, unless the experience itself happens, we can't even ask him to be disciplined. If you tell, please shun the objects of the senses, he'll ask, what for? Why? What's the need? You are very happy. Why should you do all these things? Unless you can give the direct experience, you cannot tell, you cannot give all these advices. Advice is the one thing which everybody gives, nobody takes. Which everybody gives, nobody takes. For the modern man, you cannot talk. First do all these things, then you will then you enter into the experience. No. That's the reason our spirituality is outdated. In the modern day, we will put the second sutra first and the first sutra second. After your experience, extraordinary discipline will follow your life. We cannot force discipline on you. We can't force discipline on ourselves. We can only work towards the alchemy, the transformation of our being. We can work only towards the enlightenment. Once that experience starts happening, automatically the morality happens to you, the discipline happens to you. So I am explaining the second sutra first. Let us enter into the second sutra first. Then first sutra will start happening in your life. You are neither earth, nor water, nor fire, nor air, nor ether. In order to attain liberation, realize yourself as the knower of all these and consciousness itself. Constantly, you think about your life, whether positive or negative. Whether you think your life is a chain of beautiful incidents, or you think your life is a beautiful chain of so many sufferings. Usually we think only it's a chain of sufferings. Whether you think your life is a chain of sufferings, or you think your life is a chain of beautiful incidents. Both are ignorance. Both are just expressing your ignorance. Be very clear, your life is not a chain as you think. Every moment is individual, separate, independent movement. You are just unclutched being. Because usually you are clutched, you think it is a single shaft. Because you never unclutched, you think you are a shaft. Be very clear, any moment you can just unclutch yourself. Any moment you can liberate yourself. Here Ashtavakra says, you are neither earth, nor water, nor fire, nor air, nor ether. Please be very clear, he is not requesting you to believe all these things. No. Whether he requests or not, I don't know, but I am not requesting you to believe all these things. Let me be very clear. I am not asking you to believe all these things. I am just stating the fact. I am just stating the truth. I am just expressing the truth. If you are intelligent enough, it will resonate in your being. You will feel connected to what I am saying. You will feel deeply the truth of my words. If it happens in you, come tomorrow. Otherwise, relax. It's okay. Do not bother about it. You cannot believe. All these things cannot be achieved by believing. All I request you to do is just be here completely present and try to listen whatever is uttered, and try, if you are a seeker or if you are going to be helped by the scripture or by me, simply these words will start creating a new healing effect inside your being. You will experience a deep inner healing. You will experience deeply connected, the feeling of connection. You will start feeling that you are connected. If that feeling connected happens, be very clear, you are ready for experience. You are ready for experience. You cannot prove all these statements logically. I cannot prove all these statements logically. These statements are not to be proved logically. It is not for logical analysis. It's a beautiful story. Let me tell you a story. Vivekananda goes to Ramakrishna and asks, Bhagavan, why don't you prove God logically? And Ramakrishna laughs. If I prove God logically, logic will become God. Logic will be raised to the higher level than God himself. God is in higher level. God is great because he can't even be proved by logic. Then Ramakrishna gives the same Ashtavakra Gita book to Vivekananda and asks him, please read. But Vivekananda was completely confused and depressed at the time. He says, why should I read all these things? I don't want. But Ramakrishna says, I am not asking you to read for yourself. Please read it for my sake. Please read it for my sake. Just read. I am old. I can't read. You are young. Your eyes are fresh. Just read it for my sake. So that I will listen. Just few lines. And the story says, he was able to read only few sutras. The very sutras started shaking him. He started shivering. He started trembling. And the tears started pouring. He just dropped the book and started begging Ramakrishna, I don't know, but I can't read this book anymore. My whole being is shaken. Be very clear. If you intensely listen, your whole being will be shaken. If you are shaken, this book is for you. I am for you. If it doesn't happen, do not bother, relax in the house tomorrow. There are so many other beautiful programs. Use your time in a much better way. When you work with the truth, you don't need to believe. The very power of the truth will shake you. The very power of the truth will start working in you. The very power of the truth, you will not be able to forget it. People ask me, Swamiji, how to remember all your teachings and follow in our life? I tell them, never do that mistake. Never try to remember my teachings. If my teachings are truth, you don't have to remember them. They will remember you. Just listen and understand. Whenever it is necessary, they will automatically come up and they will make you do things according to truth. If you have to force yourself, think and remember, then practice means it is not truth. Truth needs no belief. Here Ashtavakra is declaring, you are neither earth, nor water, nor fire, nor air, nor ether. In order to attain liberation, realize yourself as the knower of all these unconsciousness itself. He says, you are neither body, nor mind, or any of these five elements. Your body and mind are created out of these five elements. You are filled with earth, water, fire, air and ether. Ether is your thoughts. You are filled with all these things, but you are not these. You are beyond all these things. You are beyond all these five elements. Understand yourself as a pure consciousness. Realize yourself as the knower of all these unconsciousness itself. The next question, immediate question will come. How to understand Swamiji? How to understand? Today we will do a simple meditation technique from this sutra to realize that your consciousness itself, meditation technique derived out of the sutra, that will give you the deeper level experience or understanding about what I am speaking. You do not have to think your body to be alive. Be very clear. You do not have to think your mind to think. Somebody goes to Ramana Maharshi and says, Bhagavan, to live in Tiruvannamalai, 6 rupees is more than enough. In those days, cost of living was very low. He says, to live here 1 month, 6 rupees is more than enough. Bhagavan says, to live even body and mind is not necessary. Why do you need 6 rupees? Understand, to live, even your body and mind is not necessary. When you understand you are beyond body, your body becomes graceful. When you understand you are beyond mind, your mind becomes intelligent. You start radiating grace and intelligence when you understand you are beyond body and mind. It's a beautiful sutra in Ayurveda, where the healing and spirituality is explained beautifully. In India, everything, art, culture, painting, festivals, medicine, clothes, everything is connected to spirituality. Spirituality is the backbone. In Ayurvedic science, they say the stomach problems, constipation, all these things happens if you are constantly holding your body. If you can just relax and witness, if you start understanding you are not the body, you will never have stomach problems. Any of you have stomach problems, try this technique and I tell you it works. In last 2.5 years, I have met more than 1 million people, and more than 1 million people have taken the meditation techniques and technology created by me and experienced the truth or the bliss in their life. I tell you from my experience, this experience. If you have stomach problem, just for 2-3 days, constantly think you are not the body. And I assure you will be liberated from the stomach problems. Simply your stomach will be healed. One more thing, I am not giving you false hope. I am not making any false statement. After the experience of my 2.5 years, and after working with 1 million people, I am making this statement. After thousands of case studies, I am making this statement. After a long research, I am telling you, just try for a few days. If you have stomach problem, ulcer, constipation, irritation, any problem related to stomach, just for 2-3 days, constantly think, I am not the body. I am not the body. Just relax and allow the body to function. I tell you, within 2-3 days you will be healed. Because the moment you start thinking you are the body, you start suffocating the body. You start forcing the body. You start abusing the body. You start disrespecting the body. When you think you are a body, you start disrespecting it. You start abusing it. You can see in your life. For the sake of your enjoyments, you destroy the body. Till night, 12 o'clock, sit and watch the cricket. Your eyes are burning. It is begging, please give me little rest. In between the advertisements, eyes are automatically closing and taking you in. But you sit up, no. This is not the time for me to sleep. And you start watching the game. You are abusing your eyes for the sake of your pleasure, for the sake of your intellectual joy or ego joy, intellectual joy. Joy, somebody means you associate yourself with somebody, some country, whether it's India or Pakistan or Sri Lanka, some country, you associate yourself with that country. And if they will, you feel joy. By their winning, you are feeling the joy. It is joy comes out of ego and association. And I wanted all of you to understand, seeing cricket is surely not patriotic. Patriotism. And somehow the idea has been spread. No, we should be patriotic. One young guy came to me and he told me, Swamiji, we should be patriotic. That is why I see the cricket. What are you talking? If at all India can be represented, it can be represented only by few enlightened masters and the rishis, not by just 1 or 2 players or teams. Be very clear, the backbone of India is totally different. I am not against a particular player, a particular game, or a particular group. I am just against the very concept. All of you be very clear. If at all India can be represented, if at all you want to associate yourself with a group of masters, group of enlightened beings, not with a group of a game or a play. Be very clear. You start enjoying by associating yourself with a group, and for your ego satisfaction, you abuse your body. You disrespect your body. The moment you start realizing you are not the body, you allow the body to function as it is. You allow the body to function naturally. By its own very nature, it heals itself. Body has got its own intelligence. Never think because of you, your body is healthy. In spite of you, it is healthy. Not because of you. In spite of you, it is healthy. Constantly you abuse your body. Constantly you torture your body. The moment you start thinking you are the body, you start abusing the body. If you can relax from the idea that you are the body, you will start respecting the body. You will allow the body to live as it wants. You will allow the body intelligence to function. You will allow the body to live naturally. You will not interfere in the system, interfere with your body. You will be alive, bubbling, overflowing with energy. You will radiate grace. The moment you start understanding you are not the mind, you will have the sharp intelligence and spontaneity. You can see in your life, if two guys are playing chess, if you are watching the game, you will know the better moves than those two. And if you are playing, you will not know the moves. If you are just watching, you will tell them, hey, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? But if you yourself are playing, you will not be able to do that. Just because of the pressure to win makes you dull. When you are witnessing, when you are away, you don't have the pressure to win. When the pressure to win is not there, you become so intelligent, you become so spontaneous, you become so alive, your mind starts radiating intelligence. When Ashtavakra says, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the earth, you are not the water, you are not the fire, you are not the air, you are not the ether. He says you are not five elements. We always think we are the five elements. Body and mind are made out of five elements. We always think we are the five elements. First thing, understand you are not this body and mind. When you understand you are not this body and mind, you start respecting the body and mind. You start living with your body and mind blissfully. You do not abuse your body. You do not disrespect your body intelligence. You let your body live naturally. You let your body to live blissfully. If you detach the next sutra, if you detach the body and rest in intelligence, you will at once be happy, peaceful and free from bondage. I think this one of the sutras, Ashtavakra, completely expresses whatever he wants to say. Ashtavakra clearly explains whatever he wants to say. Usually, to tell things in a clear way needs intelligence. One more thing, to understand things from 2-3 statements also needs intelligence. Otherwise, we always understand from the other corner. Small story. One guy from Texas goes to Europe country. There he meets a farmer. The farmer starts speaking, the Europe farmer, he starts speaking about his farming and agriculture and all those things. And the Texas guy asks, where is your farm? Please show me. Farmer says, I have 10 acres in front of my house. I have 20 acres back this side of my house. He was very proud. The Europe farmer, he was very proud of his 30-acre land. And suddenly, this guy asked the Texas guy, how many acres of land you own? How you do the agriculture? Texas guy said, how many acres? I don't know. Early morning, I sit in my car and start Goes on, goes on, goes on. Only in the evening I reach the other side of the boundary. Iroquois immediately says, "Oh, is it so? Once upon a time even I had like this one car. Once upon a time even I had like this one car. Please understand, this guy says I have a big land. But the Iroquois understands, your car is not moving. You talk from one angle and the person understands from the other angle. Now, you need intelligence to present something with few words. Same way, you need intelligence to understand something with few words. Bernard Shaw wrote a 40-page book, and then he makes a statement. I don't have enough time, otherwise I would have wrote only 20 pages. Because I don't have enough time, I wrote 40-page book. If I had enough time, I would have used my intelligence and reduced this content to 20 pages. Because I don't have time, I have to write 40 pages. Be very clear. Do not think if the book is voluminous, it contains intelligence. Many times, few sutras, one or two lines will give the whole clarity. It can transform the whole life. Today, all I wanted to express is a simple one thing, only one concept. There is something called enlightenment, and it is possible. There is something called living in the body and mind without being touched by the body and mind. You can live inside the body and mind without being touched by the body and mind. You can live a liberated life. First thing, it is possible. It is possible. If you understand the technology of Ashtavakra, not only it is possible, it is guaranteed. It is guaranteed. If you have the courage to enter into the technology of Ashtavakra, just have it. Today, I say it is possible. Tomorrow, I will be explaining how it is guaranteed, and day after tomorrow, just have it. And there is nothing else needs to be done. Now, all you need to understand is simple two things. First thing, you are not the body and mind. Second thing, if you detach the body and rest in intelligence, you will at once be happy, peaceful and free from bondage. The moment you think, you understand, you are not the body and mind, immediately, that very moment, you will become peaceful. Tremendous peace starts happening in you. You start understanding and accepting you as you are. In that very moment, you start relaxing into yourself. In that very moment, you become silent. That very moment creates bliss in you. The moment you understand you are not body and mind, you relax from this whole samsara saga. As long as you associate yourself with the body and mind, all the sufferings and pains of the body and mind is experienced by you. You start experiencing the pains and pleasures, sufferings of body and mind. Just understand this simple thing. For animal to breathe, for a cow to breathe, it doesn't need ego, it doesn't need any being, it doesn't need any character. But you are afraid, if you drop your being, you will not be able to use your body. You are afraid, if you drop your being, your body will not function smoothly. You have an idea about yourself. I am somebody's father. I am somebody's brother. I am somebody's son. I am this, I am that. This idea which you are having, this being which you are carrying, this ego which you are carrying is not necessary for the smooth functioning of your body and mind. Of course, very difficult to believe. A born blind person went to the doctor and asked the doctor, "Doctor, please do something and give me eyes." Doctor says, "I'll do an operation. You will have your eyes back. Then you will be able to walk without the stick." The blind people, they use a stick to walk. He says, "You will be able to walk without a stick." The blind man says, "Sir, I understand you will do an operation. I understand I will have my eyes back, but I am not able to understand how can I walk without stick?" He cannot understand. You cannot convince him intellectually he can walk without stick after the operation. You can't convince him intellectually, because by and by he started thinking his walking itself is connected to the stick. Only after the operation he can understand he can walk without stick. Once he gets his eyes back, he will throw the sticks away and walk. I tell you, you don't need your ego to live in the body and mind. How the born blind person never understands he can walk without stick after operation. You are not able to understand you can also live without the ego in the body and mind. You can live inside your body, inside your mind, without ego. How a blind man doesn't need stick, same way you don't need ego to live. The ego which you are carrying, the concept about you which you are carrying constantly, the personality which you are carrying is not necessary for you to live inside the body and mind. You are afraid, no, if I drop that personality, people may cheat me, they may exploit me, I may be taken for a ride, somebody may cheat me in my business, somebody may take away all my properties. If I feel I am not the body, I may not maintain my house, I may give it away. All these fears raise in you. Please be very clear. All these fears are created in you by your ego. As long as you are afraid, you can be exploited by the ego. Whoever wants to exploit you, first thing they have to do is create fear in you, including your worker. If he wants to exploit, he will create the fear, but without him, you cannot do your activities. First thing, he will create a fear in you that he is needed. If he is not there, your smooth activities will be disturbed. Whether your company or your house or something, it will be disturbed. First thing, he creates a deep idea in you that he is an important part. Without him, you cannot run. He creates fear in you. Then, according to the level of the fear, according to the intensity of the fear, he starts exploiting you. Same way, first thing ego does is, ego clearly tries to prove to your being, you cannot live in your body and mind without me. Without the personality, you cannot live. Once you are frightened, once you are afraid, once you start believing that without the ego you cannot live in your body and mind, it is very easy for you to exploit. It is very easy for your ego to exploit you, to cheat you. Be very clear, it is just simple fear, nothing but simple fear. We will do a beautiful, very effective meditation technique from this sutra. From this sutra, just few minutes of meditation to realize the truth of this sutra. But before entering into the meditation, I will spend few minutes answering your questions, because I uttered too many big words, or I expressed too many concepts. Unless you question, you will not be able to digest what I said. One more thing. Usually, we feel if I put questions, all people will look at me. I may look like a fool. Please understand. If you put your question, you may look like a fool. If you don't, you will be a fool. Better to look like a fool and have an answer than being a fool. One more thing. Unless you analyze these concepts with your question answer, you will not be able to internalize this truth. You will not be able to make this as an experience in you. So I request any of you, if you have any questions, you are welcome. After spending few minutes answering your questions, we will enter into a simple meditation technique to experience the reality or the truth of Ashtavakra's words.
How you are telling about enlightenment is Ashtavakra Gita and Janaka story. I want to know from your experience how you got enlightened. When you got enlightened exactly. In what path you proceeded to get enlightened. So I can read from the book and the textbooks are available. But I have come here only to know from you how you got enlightened and when it exactly happened. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice question. But too early to ask. Do you want an honest answer or do you want a social answer? Tell me.
An honest answer.
Honest answer. Then you have to wait till the third day. Why I ask you to wait till third day? Now, even if I say about my enlightenment, I tell you, you will not be able to connect with it. You will not be able to accept, you see, unless you had one glimpse of meditation or truth from me, you will not be able to trust about my experience. Unless you experience the technology which I created, you will not be able to understand. I discovered it. So first thing, if I start speaking about my enlightenment, either out of politeness you may start believing it. Believing is not going to help you. Or you may start arguing about it. Again, that is not going to help you. Neither arguing will help, nor believing will help, or you may take it as one more story, that's all. Even that is not going to help you. It may look like one more fiction, a story, novel, very tasty, spicy, but that is not going to help you. Just have a little patience. Have today's meditation, tomorrow's meditation. Let this meditation work on you. You will have at least one glimpse of clarity, peace, or rest, or at least one moment of deep relaxation. Once that happens in you, only then you will be able to trust, oh, if this can happen to me, it must have happened to him also. Unless you get 1 inch or unless you get the glimpse, you will not be able to trust the other person has achieved. So I request you, please wait till day after tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, surely I will speak about my experience, about my personal experience. But unless you yourself got a glimpse, you will not be able to relate with what I am saying. Now, even if I say, it will be just one more story, it will not be inspiration for you. I keep that as a last weapon to inspire you. My enlightenment story should inspire you and make you work towards that same experience. When you are that much mature, After a little bit of maturity, if I speak about my enlightenment, it can be an inspiration for you to work towards that same state. It can be an inspiration to make you express or grow towards the same state. Now if I start speaking, it may be only one more story. It will not be an inspiration. So please wait till day after tomorrow. Next.
Swamiji, the point which you said about happiness. I was talking to my son and I said, I will move on to this year, this is what I am benefiting. Or he said, okay, I'm already happy. What do you want me to do? Why should I? I think that's what you said, that we relate ourselves with the happiness which we think it is happiness. And even to
If he is
myself.
really already happy, don't bother, let him be happy. Don't take it away.
That's what I said. But at the same time, I could not explain to him what happiness I have. I was able to say I'm benefiting out of the technique. But I think we are not able to express our happiness because we live in some kind of happiness.
Express
Any unhappiness. So, I mean, for us to proceed, I think we must know what is happiness, and then only we can.
First thing, two things we need to understand. If they feel that something is happy, let them live. Only life can teach them. You cannot teach them. All of you be very clear. You cannot teach to anybody. Only life can teach. That's first thing. Second thing, unless they need help, your help cannot help them. If you try to help them without they asking you to help, it will be like a scout boy story. What happened to the scout boys? What they did, the same thing you will be doing. When they need your help, let them come. Only life can teach. Second thing, your idea about happiness and unhappiness has come out of your experience. Please be honest and clear. Did you really listen to your father? No, we were not. When they,
Actually, we listen to our father, but the generation now is different.
To tell you honestly, I am not able to believe this statement. No son listens to the father. After they became father, because of their vested interests, they forget that they have not listened to their fathers. Because they have to train their sons, they remember only the incidents in which they listened to their fathers. Only those incidents they remember. They do not remember the incidents in which they said no to their father. And I tell you one simple basic thing. You feel you are a man only when you say no to your father. Till then you feel you are a child. Just to prove that you have become a man, you start saying no to your father. It's a basic psychology. It's a basic thing. When you say no, you feel you are somebody. You feel you are somebody. So, please be very clear. Whatever you say, your son is going to say no. Because he wants to be somebody. One beautiful paragraph I read in a book. One guy says, I found 3 ways to do a thing. Friend asks, what are the 3 ways? He says, first, do it by yourself. Second, or get some workers to do. Third, tell your kids not to do. That's all. It will be done. Tell your kids not to do. It will be done. See, there are 3 ways to do anything. Whenever you say, he is just waiting to say no. He is just waiting to say no. Saying no to you creates a deep courage and strength in him. And it makes him feel that he is man. Now he is on his own. So we need to understand, we also said no to our elders. Later on in the old age, because you start having the problem of selective amnesia, you start remembering only the incidents in which you said yes. You forget the thousands of incidents in which you said no to your elders. Be very clear, what we did, the same thing they are also doing. Only life can teach. There are so many people who are married. They come to me and tell, Swamiji, before marriage, if I would have met you, I would have never got married. I would have been with you. I would have dedicated my whole life for spirituality. And I tell them, marriage is like a roller coaster. Whoever is sitting inside, they all wanted to jump out. Whoever is outside always wanted to sit at least once inside. Whoever is outside, they are all having a deep interest and excitement. Why not once? Why not experience once? And whoever is inside just wanted to jump out. Be very clear. Only life can teach. You cannot teach. Let us be very clear. Only life can teach. You can neither teach nor help your kids unless they want. If you force something on them, you may teach one thing, how to cheat you, that's all. If you force some rules or regulations on them, you may teach them one thing, how to cheat you. That's all. Nothing else can be done. Let us be very clear, life only can teach. All you can do is, in a simple word, please mind your business. And I am telling with all respect, because I am not directly related. And if you start forcing, you will listen the same word without respect. That's all. That's all is the whole life. Let us see the reality. Let us come to the practical situation. I am not ready to give any idealistic solutions. Please understand. I don't want any big theories. I can give some theory. Oh, take him to some temple, or take him to some god, take him to some guru. Nothing will happen. And I tell you, nothing will happen. And especially this age, kids have become so intelligent. Unfortunately, see, the software is getting updated. So intelligence is getting updated. Nothing can be done. Those days, it was specialization. So elders were intelligent. These days, updating. So young generation, next generation is going to be intelligence. Be very clear. Those days, lifestyle is specialization. Naturally, elders will be more intelligent. These days, life is based on updating. Naturally, youngsters will be intelligent. All you need is drop your ego and respect the youngsters. That's the only thing can be done. Nothing else can be done. Because fortunately or unfortunately, the whole social setup has turned from specialization to updating. The system is not now specialization. It is all about updating. It is not about specialization. It is all about updating. So, let you be ready for respecting the next generation. Next question.
Swamiji, you are talking about we are not the body, we are not the mind, and we are not the ego and the element. But in the true sense, what are we actually? What is the I? Because you also said about the dropping of the ego and then you functioning independent of the ego. But is the I itself not an element of ego itself? And is it not in contradiction with the I thought and the ego? So in case we drop the ego and we say, no, I am not the ego, but I am functioning, is that also not an aspect of the ego itself? So who am I actually? Am I just a thought? Am I the consciousness or whatever?
Beautiful questions. Beautiful questions. But I really suspect, do you need answer? Please understand, person who needs answer will put usually only one question. Person who puts continuously so many questions, he needs only experience. He cannot be given answer. First thing, you assumed so many things and you say, if I drop the ego and I start saying, I am living without ego, is it not ego? The moment you drop the ego, you will never say, I am living without ego. Somebody asks a Zen master, Master, how will I come to know whether I am enlightened or not? Master says, this very doubt will disappear. As long as you have this doubt whether I am enlightened or not, you are not enlightened. And he says beautifully, the moment you become enlightened, the doubt whether I am enlightened or not will disappear. Same way, the thought I am enlightened also will disappear. You will neither have the doubt whether I am enlightened or not, nor have the ego, I am enlightened. Both will not be there. That's the first thing. So, the hypothetical question, if I drop my ego and I start saying, I am living without ego, is it not one more ego? The very hypothesis is wrong. If you drop your ego, you will not say you are living without ego. First thing. Next thing, you are asking, if I am not body or mind or ego, who am I? Ask yourself, not me. I asked and I found the answer. I am asking you to ask yourself. I am not here to question, I am not here to answer your question. I am here to question your answers. You have so many answers for the question, who am I? You have an answer, I am the body, I am the mind, I am the ego. I am questioning all your answers. No. You are not body, you are not mind, you are not ego. I will leave you alone with your question. When I leave you alone with your question will become quest. And that quest will naturally make you experience the truth. Please do not ask the question to me. Let you ask the question to you. I am not actually answering your question. I am questioning the answers which you have already got. So this question, who am I, should not be asked to me. It should be asked to you. And now, when we do this meditation, we will have a little more deeper clarity of what I am saying, how I am saying you are not the ego. You are not a being as you think. Next question.
Amazing. You have explained very deeply. It's really necessary for tomorrow and day after.
Please can you be a little loud?
You have explained very clearly and deeply. Is it really necessary for tomorrow and day after day classes?
That's nice. And I tell you one thing. If you understood, you don't need tomorrow day after tomorrow class. If you have not understood, again you don't need tomorrow day after tomorrow classes. If you feel almost I am catching, I think I should listen little more. Then you need tomorrow day after tomorrow classes. So be very clear. If you really understood, you don't need tomorrow day after tomorrow classes. And I tell you, if you really understood, not the tomorrow day after tomorrow, you cannot forget. Do not bother. See, if you really understood, not that you don't need tomorrow day after tomorrow classes, you will simply start living with me. I am not saying about physically, I am saying about the conscious level. So if you have understood this one session, one class, not only you don't need tomorrow or day after tomorrow class, your whole life, you will start radiating these teachings. You will start radiating. So if you understood, really, you don't need. You don't need. And if you have not understood completely, again, you don't need. If you feel, I understood some things, I think I need some more things, then you are welcome tomorrow. Next.
About
1 minute. There are 2-3 mics. Your mic is not on. Actually, only person who is little loud, only he can be heard. A small story. One young artist, he gets a role in a drama, and he rushes to the house to have tremendous excitement, and he shouts, he tells, Mother, I got a beautiful role. Mother asks, what role? I got the husband's role. Mother immediately says, you are not got the speaking part. So only if you are loud, I can listen. Please be little loud.
You have been talking about purposelessness,
Purposelessness?
One should feel that actually life is purposelessness. Now, actually having born in this world, we have to grow, we have to have some commitment, and we have to end our life also as the time comes. When given under this situation, if there is a feeling which we have to cultivate as purposelessness, then we have some commitments in life, we have to have some goals in a practical day-to-day life. How are we to compromise? How do I understand this?
First thing, I am not asking you to cultivate the feeling of purposelessness because it's the pure truth. You don't need to cultivate it. It's a simple truth. You understand? The purposelessness is the attitude of purposelessness need not be cultivated in you. It's a simple truth. All you need is just understand whether you believe it or not, your life is not under your control. Am I right? Whether you believe it or not, you do not know when the end will come. Am I right? Are you sure that you will reach your house safely? At least I am not sure. I don't know about you, but I am not sure I will reach my ashram safely with this Bangalore traffic. That is different. Whether you understand or not, accept or not, believe or not, this is the truth. I am opening the truth. I am opening the truth, which is ultimate truth. And let the truth take its own course. Why should you be so much afraid? Why are you afraid to enter into the truth? Let the truth penetrate you. Let it work. Why should we, you see, before entering into the truth itself, we are afraid. No. This is there in my life. This is there in my life. This is there in my life. If I enter into the truth, what will happen to this? What will happen to this? What will happen to this? That small wave is afraid that if it drops into the ocean, what will happen to the bubbles which he collected? And when the wave was raising, he asked all the next waves, no, you are my wife, please stand here. You are my daughter, please stand here. You are my son, please stand here. I have a commitment for all of you. I have to do this, I have to do that. And suddenly the wave disappears. Not only that wave, all the waves disappear into the ocean. What I am saying, please understand, the truth, if you can enter into the truth with courage, you will be a much better husband, much better father, much better family person, but only after entering into it, you will be able to understand. Now the question which you are asking is again hypothetical question, just like how the blind person is asking. If I get my eyes, that's okay, but how can I walk without stick? And I tell you, without this fear, if you understand the beauty of purposelessness, you will be able to do your commitments beautifully. If you are really intelligent enough to understand life is purposeless, you will just serve them. You will never give your ideology. You will only give your help. You will never give your ideology. But if you don't understand the purposelessness, along with your wealth, you will always give your pressure, your ideology, your thoughts. You will suffocate the other person. You will possess the other person. I tell you, the person who understands life is purposeless will be able to serve, fulfill his commitments much better way, much more beautifully, in a complete relaxed way. If you are constantly tortured by this idea of responsibility, pressure, commitment, by and by you will start hating the people who are responsible for your responsibilities. That is why constantly you hate your wife, constantly she fights with you. That's why I say they are called intimate enemies. Constantly son hates the father, father hates the son, wife hates the husband, husband is hating the wife. The problem is, when you feel you have the responsibility towards them, unconsciously you start hating them. You start thinking them as a load. And not only that, when you start fulfilling your responsibility, when I am doing so much for you, why don't you do this much for you, for me? You start demanding. You start demanding. The whole routine, the whole drama starts, the goal-oriented drama starts. The person who understands life is purely purposeless, he just gives. Showers, never demands. Only he will fulfill his commitment. Without even feeling, he has got commitments. When you take your responsibilities without feeling you are having too many responsibilities, neither you will torture yourself nor you will torture others. If you feel you are responsible and take the responsibility, you will torture yourself and constantly you will nag others. Let me tell you very clearly, constantly you will nag others. It is very difficult to live with CEOs. Because constantly they will feel that they are responsible for something. And they will constantly be torturing you. They will constantly think, when I am responsible for so many things, why can't you also be responsible for all these things? But the moment you understand, the whole thing is just purposeless. You just give, shower. Never create trouble for others. Never expect anybody to return. Never demand anybody to return anything. Never you will nag others. Never you will torture others. Only when you understand life is purposeless, you will be able to fulfill your commitments, fulfill your responsibilities beautifully, perfectly, without creating pressure for them, without torturing them. Otherwise, you will do your responsibility with the concept of responsibility and torture them also and possess them also. Thank you. Next.
I have two questions. First is, I want to understand ego. Janaga had asked three things. Janaga.
Yes.
He had asked three questions. One is knowledge, second is decoration, third is renunciation. I understand decoration means one can feel let us no purpose. Renunciation, movement, if it is above the body and mind, and is the consciousness itself. What about the knowledge? What knowledge is asking?
Please be very clear, you have not understood this too. If you have understood renunciation and liberation, that is knowledge.
That is what.
Because you have not understood these two, you are questioning about knowledge. So do not say, I understood these two, I wanted to know about third. These two is only knowledge. So be very clear, you have not understood these two itself completely. So now start thinking, contemplating to understand these two completely. Next question.
Hello?
Understand about the ego.
Ego. Yes, please be seated. Now let me answer this question. After answering, we will enter into the meditation. Ego means the moment you remember your name. See, when you close your eyes and remember your name, you remember some personality as somebody's father, as somebody's mother, or person who is doing some profession, or with this much of education, with this much of respectability. You have an idea about yourself. The idea which you are having about yourself is what I call ego. Please be very clear, one more thing. All your idea about yourself is inferiority complex. Do not think ego is related to superiority complex. Be very clear. Any idea you have about yourself less than you being God is inferiority complex. Because you are God, whether you believe it or not, accept it or not, realize it or not, you are God. Whatever idea you have about yourself, you being less than God is inferiority complex. We are all suffering. Every one of you are suffering by inferiority complex. Do not think your ego is superiority complex. That is another one problem. You always think you suffer because of superiority complex. No. And I tell you, all your idea about yourself is inferiority. All your idea about yourself is inferior than you are. By your very nature, you are God. The moment you start assuming yourself anything less than you being God, you have an inferiority complex problem. Now, dropping that inferiority complex is what I call spirituality or enlightenment. Having that idea about you, your inferiority complex is what I call your ego. Please understand, whatever idea you have of yourself is inferior than you. You may think you are this, you are that, you are a doctor, you are an engineer, you are this, you are that, you are having so many houses, you are having this much of property, you are having this much of education, and some in India, another problem. I have done so many years of spiritual practice. There is a big group in India, professional seekers. I call them professional seekers, spiritual window shoppers. Any Swami, any Guru, any Mahatma, that group will be there. All you need is just advertise in the engagement column in some newspaper. There is a particular group, always will be there, professional seekers. And I see people come to me and tell me, Swamiji, last 30 years I am seeking. I tell them, don't think it's something good. Don't tell it with pride. Be ashamed of it. Last 30 years you are seeking, still you have not achieved. Don't tell this with pride. Be ashamed about it. The professional seekers. In India you can see that ego very much, the strong ego. Like I have this much of money, this much of relationship, this much of bank balance, this many years of spiritual experience, this many years of professional spiritual seeking experience. So all these concepts are only I am calling inferiority complex. All these concepts only I am calling your ego. Please be very clear. Do not think your ego is superiority complex. You are not so intelligent. We are not so intelligent to create superiority complex about ourselves. Whatever ego you are having is simply inferiority complex. Okay? Because you think it is superiority complex, you are not ready to drop that. You just understand this pure inferiority complex. You are all suffering with inferiority complex problem. You will simply drop it. All our problem is simply inferiority complex problem. Of course, again we have question, how can we be God? How can I be God? How can I be this? I am afraid of this. I am afraid of that. I have this problem. I have that problem. How can I be God? How can I be a spiritual being? Be very clear. Your idea that you are afraid of this, you are afraid of that, everything is just your personality. You can drop the personality and function. Now, just for a few minutes, let us experiment. A cow can inhale and exhale without personality. A bull can walk and eat grass without personality. A dog can sleep and eat without personality. Why can't you run your life without personality? Why do we need personality to run our life? Why do we need to run our life with so much of torture? Please be very clear. Whether you believe it or not, accept it or not, realize it or not, the truth is you can live in your body and mind. You can live your life without personality, without individuality, without character. I am not saying characterless, that idea. Please do not go to the other extreme. I am saying what you think as your character. What idea you have of yourself. Dropping that idea, you can live. You can live without a definite boundary line of personality or a boundary line of individuality in your life. Now, let us do this simple technique from Ashtavakra. Just visualize how the cow or bull is just rest and relaxed way inhales and exhales. Same way, visualize your body is lying and is inhaling and exhaling. Do not bring your being into the body. Usually, the moment you close your eyes and remember your name, you bring your dirty being, which constantly creates trouble for you. It constantly pushes you this side to that side and this corner to that corner. And you constantly start thinking about something. Now, just for a few minutes, do not bring your being inside. Just sit. Do not bring your name. Do not bring your form. Do not bring your anything. Do not bring ideas which you have about yourself. Just like how the cow or a bull or animal or a dog or some animals, how they relax, they inhale and exhale, how their body is lying. Just like that, allow your body to rest and let it inhale and exhale. Let the body function. Let it smoothly live its life. Let the heart function. Let pulse happen. Let your blood flow happen. Let everything happen in your body. You just do not be inside. You just do not bring your being. You just do not bring the idea about you. Just allow the body to function for few moments. You will catch a glimpse. Your body and mind, your body can function. You can function without your old past, without your personality, without your individuality. Now, please close your eyes. Any of you, if you don't want to meditate, you are free to leave the hall. But if you are inside the hall, please be silent and close your eyes and cooperate with others. Please close your eyes and sit straight. Just see very clearly. Your body is lying. How? Cow, a bull, a dog. Inhales and exhales. Without any being. Same way. Allow your body to inhale and exhale. Do not bring your name or form. Do not bring your mind. Relax and let your body function as it wants. Let it be. Let the heart function. Let inhaling and exhaling happen. Just take care. Don't bring your old personality. You don't remember the idea which you have about yourself. Allow the body to function beautifully. Let it function smoothly. Let it live naturally. Allow the body to function. Let it inhale and exhale. Let it relax. let your body be relaxed. Try to open your eyes without bringing your old personality back. Just slowly try to open your eyes, but do not bring your personality back. If you feel you again got the personality, close your eyes and connect with that personality-less mood. Again go into yourself. Just be without idea about yourself. Let the body function in a relaxed way. Let it be completely relaxed. Be connected to the state of beingless, personalityless. Try just to be in the same moment. Relax. Your eyes. Try constantly to be in the beingless state at least few times a day. Again and again, by forgetting, you will bring back your old mind, your old mental setup. Again and again, try to connect. Just be with your body. How the animal is lying. Animals are lying without any personality or being. Same way, just let your body relax. Let it function. Do not bring your personality in. Let it function naturally. Let it be there. Try to connect. Try to be with yourself without bringing your personality at least few times a day. Whenever you find time, try just to be in this mood, in this state. I tell you, in few days, you will be able to connect with this state immediately. Once you are able to connect with this state, immediately you will be able to sit with yourself always. If you are able to sit with yourself, be very clear, you are liberated. If you do not need anything from outside, if you can sit with yourself, you are liberated. These few statements, through these few statements, all I wanted to say is, there is something called enlightenment. There is a state in which people do live without body and mind. Enlightenment, it is possible. Tomorrow we will see how it is guaranteed for everybody. Today we are seeing how it is possible for us. Tomorrow we will see how it is guaranteed for every one of us. Day after tomorrow we will see how we are having it. So, let the ultimate energy bless us all to experience this truth and radiate eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you.